Luckily, my injury happened while we were recording, and it didn't hurt the tour that followed. Our album, Southern Accents, came out and contained the hit song, Don't Come Around Here No More, which Chris poorly referenced earlier.
Oh, I like that song. It was about Stevie Nicks.
Yes, it was.
I remember the music video. It was that Alice in Wonderland video where you were the Mad Hatter. At the end of the video, you and the rest of the band had a cake version of Alice. That was the first music video I ever seen on MTV. I thought it was the coolest concept and always wanted to do something as creative as that someday.
And now you get to as a podcast host.
Living the dream.
Actually, it's running down a dream.
Touché. Well, we ended up going on tour with Bob Dylan right before we recorded another album.
That album sparked a friendship between Tom and Bob. It also got us a spot opening up for the Grateful Dead.
Bob Dylan and I became good friends after that tour. That friendship made us think about working together.
We want to have a Wilburys.
Hold on. I didn't understand any of that.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
It's when we Wilburys.
Still don't understand you.
It's like he's speaking to us, but I don't get what he's trying to say.
We started a band called the Traveling Wheelberries.
Oh, now I understand.
Why didn't he just say that?
I need.
If you say so, Mumbles.
We want me album.
Okay, can somebody translate for me?
Yeah, he said, we firmed a bend and made it all dumb.
Oh, we made an album.
No, we made a dump truck.
We made an album.
We made you dim sum. Good, I like dim sum.
Great, now I want dim sum.
Stop, both of you.
Yeah, he said we made an album.
Still want dim sum.
They have some in the food court.
Yes, score.
So I made an album with Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Roy Harrison, and Jeff Lynne that went triple platinum and won a Grammy for Best Rock Performance. It was also the first time in years I had done anything without the Heartbreakers.
Yeah, after all those albums and tours, it was time to do something different. We were still Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, but we all needed to do some other projects on our own.
I met a girl and we got married a few years later. Oh, that's so sweet. We got divorced.
Never mind.
I did some guitar work with Roy Orbison and Stevie Nicks.
I thought she couldn't come around here no more.
What Tom didn't know wouldn't hurt him.
And I know I do. Bros before hoes.
Sorry.
It's all right. I went and made my first solo album. I called it Full Moon Fever, Laura.
Great album.
Yeah, it was free. Free falling.
I wanted to do that.
I would have, except Chris doesn't like when I do his thing.
His thing?
Yeah, my thing. The song lyric thing.
Looks like it's my thing. I'm the captain now.
That's really more of your thing, the movie quote deal.
Well, she is your wife, so she gets half of your quotes anyway.
Yeah.
I don't understand any of that. But the album...
I don't either.
See, in the divorce, you get half of his
I thought you didn't understand.
Song lyric quotes.
How are you explaining it to me if you didn't understand?
because I got inside information.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tom
You're
Petty
getting
gets
divorced?
No, Tom Petty did, though.
Oh.
But that album didn't have Free Fallin' on it. It was my first hit single without the rest of the Heartbreakers. The album also had the hits Running Down a Dream and I Won't Back Down on it as well.
Finally going solo after all these years and achieving that success he always wanted.
I was already successful. I went back to do an album with the Heartbreakers. Right after I was done touring in full support of Full Moon Fever.
You mean after you did more music with the Traveling Wilburys? No, it was 2 albums. Actually, it was 3 albums that the Traveling Wilburys would put out. Who?
I didn't. I enjoy playing with all of you. I just enjoy playing with the Heartbreakers more. That's why I made an album with them before I did anything solo again.
We made Into the Great Wide Open and released the title track as the first single off the album. Johnny Depp was in the music video and the song became a hit.
Did Johnny Depp look like Johnny Depp?
Yes, why? What an odd question.
No reason. I just got a Johnny Depp theory.
He thinks Johnny Depp is an alien.
I assure you, he is not an alien.
That is just what an alien would want you to think.
So, while all this was going on, I secretly worked out a deal with Warner Brothers Records to leave MCA and put all those legal issues behind me. We put out a greatest hits album and moved on to Warner Brothers with no issues.
It's just like when we finally joined the Podfix network.
How is it just like us joining the Podfix network?
Well, we came in with a new format and a new lineup. It was just like starting over.
That was when I came on board and increased the amount of downloads we had because of my lovable personality and quick wit.
I don't think that was when you came on the show.
Yeah, it was.
Actually, Sabrina, you came on after we joined the Podfix network.
Yeah. But I still brought in the ratings, and you can't take that away from me.
We won't.
Our greatest hits album would stay on the charts, the pie charts, for almost 6 years, and give us another hit song in Last Dance with Mary Jane.
I love song titles with drug references in them.
Me too. It wasn't my last dance with drugs, though.
When did you do drugs?
That doesn't seem like something you would do.
No, but I was going through a divorce. I started using heroin to cope with the pain. I thought everything would be better once I got on a new record label, but the war at home proved to be too much for me to handle.
Love stinks.
Wrong band.
I reference all bands.
Noted. I released my second solo album as my first offering on the new label. Wildflowers spawned the hits You Don't Know How It Feels and You Wreck Me, which is how I felt on the inside.
That explains the drug use.
It does. Think of it as being an empty fishbowl. You need to fill it with something. Anything. Even if it's tiny scraps of paper.
Well, that sounds familiar.
I saw that fishbowl over there too, Ben Mount. I was wondering where it came from and why it was filled with paper.
Oh, that's ours! It holds random facts and appears whenever we are learning about something or someone.
Fishbowl facts.
It should be filled with Tom Petty facts.
Yeah.
Let's hear some Tom Petty facts then.
Fishbowl fact number 1.
One of Petty's acting credits included voicing a character in the long-running animated series King of the Hill. He played Elroy, Lucky, Kleinschmidt over 20 times on the show. Thanks for giving me the tough name.
You're better at the names.
Fishbowl fact number 2.
Although his 1993 greatest hits album included Mary Jane's Last Dance as a rare bonus track, Petty was actually not a fan of having these on albums and balked at adding it to his own. There is no bonus track. It's the end of your record, he said to Radio Q. I didn't want it on the record unless it's supposed to be there.
Fishbowl fact number 3.
Mike Campbell was working on a demo in 1984 for the song that eventually became The Boys of Summer. Campbell offered the song to Petty, who disliked the use of synthesizers, so the song went to Don Henley instead.
Fishbowl fact number 4.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers received a Hollywood Walk of Fame star in 1999.
That was a long fact for you there, Laura.
It was.
Fishbowl fact number 5.
After joining the Heartbreakers to perform a couple of songs on Saturday Night Live in 1994, Dave Grohl received an offer from Petty to replace Fire drummer Stan Lynch full-time. Grohl declined and ended up starting his own band, the Foo Fighters.
Who?
The Foo Fighters!
Never heard of him.
I know.
Fishbowl fact number 6.
On the morning of May 17, 1987, just as Petty and his family were sitting down to breakfast, the family's Encino, California home went up in flames. Authorities determined it was the work of an arsonist, and Petty was deeply shaken after the event.
Fishbowl fact number 7.
Growing up in Florida, Petty saw the Confederate flag everywhere, and his band used it extensively in the marketing of their 1985 album, Southern Accents. However, he later changed his mind about supporting the flag.
Fishbowl fact number 8.
Petty appeared 8 different times over the course of his career on Saturday Night Live.
So glad you took all the long facts, Laura.
Yes, you're welcome. I will take care of those for you guys.
That's an odd segment, but I think we should get back on track, though.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
It didn't stop us from making music and touring constantly.
We were so busy and focused on the music that we didn't notice that Epstein had also started using heroin.
I was getting clean. He started using. It was a trying period for us, and we ended up getting hurt at the end of it.
Yeah, nothing good comes from drugs.
It's true, and Howie unfortunately found that out the hard way.
We got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2002, but it wasn't enough to help get Howie clean.
We had our highest moment as a band, being acknowledged for our contributions to rock. Then we had our lowest moment as a band.
We had to kick Howie out of the band for his drug use. We had hoped it would be a wake-up call and that he would realize that he needed to get clean. It didn't, though, and Howie died from a heroin overdose a year later.
It was heartbreaking. No pun intended. He was such a fun and free individual that it was sad to see him lose his life being controlled by drugs.
It was a sad time for us, but we still had to make music. Getting inducted into the Hall of Fame brought Ron Blair back to the group. We got to talking at the ceremony and brought him back in after Epstein was out.
That must have been tough with everything that led up to him rejoining the band.
It's not always easy bringing people back in after they have left before. I think there's always a thought that they might Canadian quit again at some point.
Canadian quit? I've never heard that term before. Anyway, we had thought that as well. That's why we told him if he was going to come back, we wanted him to give it his all.
He agreed and told us that he was in it for the long haul this time. He promised that he would not Canadian quit, as you say.
With the original lineup all back together, we felt it was time to make some new music. We also had our 30th anniversary coming up, so an album seemed like a good way to commemorate that.
30 years with almost the same lineup is really impressive. You should be proud of that.
Thank you. We thought it was impressive as well, and that's why we decided to make a documentary on the band.
We did a new album, an anniversary tour, and made a documentary titled Running Down a Dream.
I thought that was a song.
It is.
So, a 4-minute song is a documentary on the band?
No, it's a song and a documentary.
That's what I said.
It is a 4-minute song, and it's also a 4-hour documentary about the band.
Do you people even know what you're talking about?
We also got to play the Super Bowl halftime show in 2008. It was an amazing experience and a performance I'll never forget.
Is it because you got to lip sync and play unplugged instruments?
Yes, and I didn't lip sync.
Sure you didn't.
I didn't. I also thought it was time to get Mudcrunch back together.
They were already in the Heartbreakers.
Most of us were, yes, but not all of us.
I got the rest of the guys back together, and we finally released our debut album more than 30 years later.
Well, better late than ever.
That's what we thought, and that's why we did it.
Mudcrutch didn't stop the Heartbreakers from making a new music as well. We released Mojo in 2010 with a tour that lasted a few years after that.
We released our final album in 2014. Hypnotic Eye came out and was our first album to ever reach #1 on the charts, not the pie charts.
It took us 13 albums, but we finally had a #1.
Again, better late than never.
Agreed. That would be our last album, and I'm happy that we could end on a high note.
Last album, and it goes to #1. What a way to go out.
Now that's an ending.
But we're not done yet.
You're not?
No, I haven't died yet.
I guess when you put it that way, we should let you finish your story.
We toured after that for years. We did a 40th anniversary tour, and it ended with a show at the Hollywood Bowl. I would die a week later.
That's crazy.
I know. I was shocked when I heard of Tom Petty's death. Tom would go into cardiac arrest at his Malibu home, and he later died surrounded by us and his family. It was heartbreaking. None of us could believe he was gone.
None of us saw it coming. A week prior, he was playing the Hollywood Bowl, and the next he was gone. He wasn't doing any drugs and was in decent health.
I was dealing with knee issues, and pneumonia, and a fractured hip, so I was taking painkillers to continue touring.
Tom ended up dying from a bad mixture of those painkillers causing his cardiac arrest.
For as sad as we were to see Tom go, we realized that he ended up going his way. He played music until the end and performed like every night was his last.